Welcome to a Farming Simulator 19 First Look Map Tour with me, MrSealyp. I am here on Meadow Grove Farm. This is a new map to console. I think this has been out already on PC. This is new to console. This is by Nathan6930. I've got this on new farmer mode as I often do, but I have had a look on farm manager mode, so I'll be able to tell you a little bit about the comparisons between the two. We start off in the farmhouse, and if we have a look on the map, we are right at the top here, right at the top of the map. Now, first thing I will say is there is a key down the side, but it is a very busy map. There's a lot going on. Changing the growth and soil competitions and things like that. What it almost might be better off doing is turning everything off like that, the side, to give yourself an overview of the map without all the colours and all the stuff that can, make it even more confusing than, I say than it already is. But there is a lot going on here. We've got stuff spread all over the place. There are a lot of fields, but they're all very, very small. We've only got about 4 or 5 sell points, but like I say, we've got the animals are all split. So you've got your cows are separate to your pigs and your sheep and your horses, and so that's where things can get a little bit complicated. Now, as far as what you start with on New Farmer, we start with fields 17, 18, 19, 20. 21 and 24, which all these ones up here, and all the kind of bits of land in between, which is becoming a fairly kind of common theme now. Otherwise it can cause problems with landscaping and things like that. Now, biogas plant you will need to buy, which is up here, and that is only 71,000. So to be fair, if it was me, that's a no-brainer purchase. Get that out of the way straight away, because that makes life so much easier for anything you want to do after that. As far as field prices go, some of these fields are independent, so you're buying the field really. Some of you buying a plot like that, 11 and 12. That one is just 16 on its own. Some of these are a bit odd up here. Where were we? Yeah, that one does 34, 38 and 41 together. That does 35 on its own. That does 33. That does 33, but then 36 and 37. So when you're buying these plots, some of them are actually split, which is, slightly odd. But at the end of the day, like that one, you get all of that round there for 240,000. So like I say, field prices are not too bad at all. Now, as far as equipment that you start with, we won't worry about all the rest of the key. Don't worry, we'll go into that in a bit more detail later on. As for what you actually start with vehicle wise, we start with an armour track, which I love, a Case Maxim. We've got a Bison Super pickup, a couple of little trailers. We've got the header for the Bison, cultivator, seeder, sprayer, some field work equipment here. We've got a small mower, we've got a tedder and a windrower, loading wagon, and then we do actually, now these are integral into the map. So the animal pastures, whilst you all own them, and you can sell them if you want to, if you sell them they will stay there, in so much as the buildings will stay there. You won't have access to them, so be wary of that. If you sell it off, you'll then have to place them somewhere else, because you can't actually place them back onto the bit where it already is. That's the only downside to that. But these are modded ones in the game, which actually are cheaper. What do I want? Animal pens. Cheaper than the standard in-game ones. So if I scroll right the way across the end here, we've got the horse paddock, chicken coop, large cow pasture. Now that large cow pasture will hold 200 cows. It's only 100,000, whereas the in-game one is 300,000. I think for the large cow pasture, isn't it? Yeah, 300,000. Holds the same amount, but it's a lot cheaper. So again, something worth bearing in mind. Slots on console. On New Farmer mode, you start with 783 out of 1299. On Farm Manager mode, you don't start with any of the equipment, but you do still start with all the paddocks, all the animal enclosures, and the slot count drops only a small bit down to 648. So you don't have to use the paddocks where they are. You can go and start up your own farm wherever you want, which I'll show you something else based on that later on. The farmhouse is really nice, plenty of doors and things to open. The weird thing is, this seems very familiar to me, and I can't think what map this was on, or what map I've seen this on. It might not have been one I've played on. There's loads of rooms, loads of doors to open. I don't want to waste half the look round at just the farmhouse, but there are quite a few rooms. And upstairs we've got bedrooms and a bathroom, and it's all very lovely. Very cosy and homely. Anyway, let's head out the front door. Like I said, there is more to look at, but we come at the front and we are facing south now, and we kind of start top of the map and also top of the hill, and the rest of the map kind of sweeps down away from where we are. Woodlands are marked with a W on the map, and we are starting right by one here, so our farmhouse is right here. Now actually, I don't know. Oh, there we go, just in the doorway. I was going to say, I was wondering what room you'd have to go to be able to sleep through the night. So it's just in the doorway to sleep through the night. We do start also with a dog, which some of the maps, I don't think I've ever actually started a map with a dog. We have got a dog here. Let's feed it. Where's it gone? Disappeared off into undergrowth. And we've got a small garage here, which has got a pickup truck in it. So let's open that up, and we'll open the gate now. I'm going to put this out there straight away. If you don't like small English country maps, you're going to hate this. And if you don't like gates, you're going to hate this even more. Loads and loads of gates, loads of tight narrow lanes, small fields. This is not for big machinery. It just isn't. As for when big American maps are coming, I know some are in testing at the moment. I know a lot of people are asking why we keep getting small English maps. The people that make the maps make them, submit them, they get checked over, and if they're okay, they get put out. If any of the American maps are submitted, and when they're ready to go, they'll come out. So it is what it is. Now, lots of detail, and I like that about this. Not all your standard kind of things plunked down again, which I think is a nice thing. Kind of rusted looking shed, and into the first woodland here, which of course you'll have to buy. A lot of these plots you're going to need to buy before you can do anything with. But what I will do is turn that down to 1, and what I also need to do is turn that off, because that will drive me mad otherwise. The auto engine start I don't normally like, but I think what I'll do is just put up with it for this, for what I'm doing here. So we're going to head round in a strange kind of loop round, but I'll do what I always do. I'll tell you where I am, what I'm doing, and you know, that kind of thing when we get there. So straight away, right by where our farmhouse is, we've got the cow farm, and realistically that's the way you need to look at this map. It's a lovely bit of English countryside, sweeping hills, you know, nice landscape, and it is for all intents and purposes separate farms. You've got a cow farm, a sheep farm, you know. Whilst I suppose you could say it's all your estate if you want it to be, they are realistically separate farms, and they are tight, narrow, small yards, not a lot of room. A lot of the starting equipment is actually at this main farm here at the cow farm, but some really nice stuff going on here. I like the detail on this. Plenty of barn space, shed space and storage space for whatever it is you should need. Now this is the cow, another entrance just there. This is the cow barn, but what's something else I want to point out? Where is it? Right, these here, there's a few of these, and these are all the animal points. Where you've got a kind of a water splash in front, they are water refill points, and they do work. So we have got just here, this is where we can buy, sell, deliver or pick up our cows, and the cow pasture is right out here, which is rather nice. We have got tucked in here feed trough. Actually, I say that, I think feed trough is this side, and I think this is the straw side, as far as I can gather. And then we've got water trough just out here. As far as where milk appears, that's your slurry pit. So that's where your slurry is collected from. I think we actually just walked past the yeah, we did, didn't we? We walked past the bunker for manure. So I'm assuming these are going to need to be mucked out It may do it automatically, but I'm assuming the fact this is kind of an open one, you kind of pile your manure up there. Now we have got, this is kind of the milking shed just here, but your milk churns are just here, so this is the area where you're going to come to collect your milk, but there is like a milking parlour, milk shed just to the side here, which is quite nice. You can go through inside and have a look. There's nothing more you can actually do in here, but that's your milking parlour. And then we come around, like I say, there's lots of gates and fences and all sorts. More shed space, more storage. At each of the main farms, so far as what I've found, we've got workshops at all of them. So we've got a couple of our tractors are tucked neatly in here. And these are both bunker silos for chaff for fermenting into silage. And then we've got more gates that take us through into a slightly larger area, but more equipment. It's all tucked away. It's like, and it's got a nice, I like this, it's got a nice feel to it, a nice flow to it. It feels like, you know, if you've been around the UK, if you've seen any of these little farms, and there are thousands of them dotted around the UK, it has that nice feel that it's kind of built up over time. Things have been added, the sheds have been added as the farm's expanded, so it's not a kind of carefully placed farm, it's kind of just grown over time. But there you go, that's your cow farm up on the top of the hill. What we're going to do now is head in a very strange kind of route round, and I'm going to try and get as much in as I possibly can. So what we're going to do now is we are going to head east. So we're going to head east, and it actually takes us down the hill. Now, one thing I will say is that, another thing I will say, all the tarmac seems like it's all been freshly laid. It's quite a dark texture on the tarmac here, but the landscape itself is fantastic. Like I say though, gates. There are gates everywhere. So if you're not a fan of gates and you don't like small fields, like I say, I'm not sure you're going to like it. Even if you can appreciate the quality of the map and what's been done. And it does, you know, it looks like English countryside. It's lovely. I really do like it. That's still not going to be something that, you know, your large machinery farmers are going to like. So, heading down the hill. Farm dog's just been for a walk and he's all over excited. So as we get to the bottom of the hill here, and we are heading east, we have got the biogas plant. Like I say, which you have to buy, but it's only about 70 grand. Not overly expensive. It looks well used, well lived in. And we have got the anaerobic digester here, and it looks like one you can tip into, which is going to be quite handy if you can. And it's one of those ones that kind of drops away into there. And then we've got our digestate tank, which is just here with a couple of bunker silos. And I like, again, these aren't your standard normal ones. These look like your concrete section, you know. You see them a lot on farms where they put the slabs in to build the sides of the walls up. So there you go. That's your BGA or biogas plant. And then what we've got to do is go across the road. Make sure we're going out the outway. There we go. Now if you turn left here, the road goes out a couple of fields and field entrances, but the map kind of ends in the northern part just there. Just around the corner there is a David's Tasty Burger, burger bar, burger van. So fancy burger, nip up there. If we turn left here, it says pig farm, but before we get to the pig farm, on our right here we have got our animal dealership, which is just here. And if we click on there, we can buy, sell directly to our paddocks if we want to, or if we've got a vehicle we can collect from here should we want to. And carrying eastward even further, we're going to be heading out to the pig farm, which, if you can see in the mini map at the bottom, it's got a red circle around it. Now weirdly, when I got up to here, when I had a bit of a whiz round and I looked around the map, it sounded like an aeroplane, and it sounded like something like a heavy lift kind of Hercules type thing. And the sound got nearer and nearer, and I looked up in the sky, and then it just suddenly cut off really abruptly, and it was a bit peculiar. Not too sure why it did that. A couple of little cottages just up here, some nice little houses tucked around. This is another one of those maps that I would suggest, you know, have a look round, have a wander about, because there's loads to see, loads of little hidden away buildings and stuff like that. Now, you probably already noticed up at the main cow farm there was no farm silo. There are 3 farm silos on this map, 200,000 litres each, and you own all of them from the start. So it gives you a total capacity of 600,000 litres, and they are spread around the map. So this farm here, the pig farm, and the pig farm bit is just there, the pigs are here. But this is where your first farm silo is. You can open up the one at the other end here, and then your pipe is kind of hidden amongst the trees actually just there. So that's the first of your farm silos. So we've got our water trough here for the pigs. Around the side here we've got our feed trough. We've got our buy sell point just around there, and I think the straw point's around the other side, if I've got that right. Or is that just where the slurry is? Oh, that might be here actually. This hazard marked area here I think is for the straw, and then you've got your slurry and your manure point. So that's the pig farm. Nice little farmhouse and some more shed space. There's no shortage of shed space all over the map really, and loads of little fields, lots of little tracks that wind off and join fields up, and they're not all directly off main roads. You've got to have a bit of a look around, and we've got a few fuel points actually dotted around the map, so there's no worries or shortage of places to get your fuel from. What we'll do, if I can turn around here, actually what I wanted to check, and I've just proved that, the barbed wire fencing and stuff doesn't have collisions, or they don't have collisions. I don't think the hedges do either. However, things like mowing equipment and headers, generally speaking, even on maps where there are no collisions on the hedges, like harvester headers and stuff, don't like it very much. So what we're going to do now is head south down the map. So we're going to turn here and head south. As you can probably already tell, it's tight, it's narrow. You're not going to be able to go for massive harvesters in here. Even when you've got a header trailer and stuff, there's not a lot of room here. Now, I can take a left there, which takes me up and around, and there's a literally, it winds around, and there's a few lovely little cottages and houses and stuff around the road. But what I'm going to do is head straight down here, and what we should come to, if I've got this right, like I say, there are a lot of different points on the map. Whilst they're not all sell points, really nice church on the left hand side. This is one I don't think, I'm trying to think if I've come across this one before on any map. Certainly not that I remember. It's a lovely little church like that. We'll carry on, and on our right hand side we've got the barn sale point. So as we come along this little road here, so we're now coming down the eastern side of the map. And if you turn in there and just go around the back, the barn is just over the back there, past that blue banner. We'll hop over the fence. So you've got a kind of horse training area, but the horse paddock isn't over here. There's your barn sale point, just in there. Let's hop back over here, back into our pickup, and continue. So we are continuing south down the eastern edge of the map. Now marked with green circles on the map, and there are 2 or 3 of them. It says over here, the green here says storage yards, and there are a few of them dotted about. There's one here, there's one over there, is there one further north? Oh, it might just be the 2 of them then. But yeah, that's just a storage yard. There's some sheds and buildings. There's not actually anything in there at the moment, but if you want to use it for storage, if anything, if you've got equipment over this side of the map. But like I say, you've got these little tracks that lead off from field to field. Quite a few grass fields on this map. Contracts are available. I just thought I'd better point that one out because I always forget that. There are contracts available. And we are going to follow the road round. Now, like I said, at most of the main animal yards there are water tanks where you can fill up, and it's free to fill up, doesn't cost anything. On the map, this pink area that we're heading to now has got 2 little lakes, and it's marked down as like water area. Now, I came down here with one of the Aquatrans water trailers. Weirdly, I opened this gate here, which to me seemed like the obvious point to come and fill up with water, and there didn't appear to be a trigger. It wouldn't let me fill up with water, which was a bit peculiar. However, if we continue on, this is probably not actually suitable for vehicles other than tractors, but we'll see why in a second. As we swing round, the landscape drops away. Some of these fields are very hilly and they're going to be interesting. We've got a ford, and it's quite a deep one actually. We look at the side of the vehicle. That's fairly deep to attempt without a snorkel. Anyway, you can fill up your water there, weirdly, at the ford, but not at the other bit. So, let's keep going. So, we've just come to this T-junction here. We're going to go right. That one leads off. We'll come to that bit later on, don't worry. Some of the bits we've got to backtrack to get to certain points, but this is fine. The road network does kind of all meet up with itself eventually, but it does take a little bit of... I don't think any traffic comes down here, so we're probably going to be alright. Open that gate up. And this takes us into our sheep and chickens. Again, it's not your standard kind of setup. So finding everything was a little bit trickier when I started out. This here I think is the feed trough for the chickens. Because when you come around the corner here, this is where you buy your chickens. And if you buy one, let's say for example, let's just move one and confirm. Your chickens just wander around. Where's the chicken I just bought? Well, the one I bought earlier wandered. Oh, there you go. Wander around the yard, and here is where your egg boxes will appear. So that's your chicken part of here. If we come further around the corner, we have got some more barn space. I think this is another workshop. So like I say, most of the animal points you've got workshops. This is where your wool pallets are going to come. This is your feed trough. Where was... I've got to remember. Oh, here we go. Right, there's your water trough, and here's where you buy, sell, or deliver your sheep from. So your sheep bit's over here, and your chicken bit's just over there. Let's close that gate again. And we have got water here. Again, that's free, should you need it. These yards are tight. I can see. I'm gutted that we've had none of the Massey Ferguson packs from Peter J and people like that made the ones for FS17, because I think this is the kind of map that would work really well with small, not necessarily just older stuff, but the Massey Ferguson things I think would fit in really, really nicely, wouldn't they? So coming up here, we've got the black ring around this particular yard, and this is the next of your farm silos. I don't think there's no animals here, but again we've got more storage space, another little farmhouse tucked away there. I think it's only the main farmhouse is the one you can use to sleep through the night. That's the only one we have. We've got plenty of shed space, shelter space, and this is your second silo. Now I'd imagine, again, if we look here and I zoom in a little bit, 600,000 litres, so 200,000 at each place. We do have some, but I don't know whether that's split between the three or whether it's all at one of them. So that's going to be a bit of a hunt really to find out where they are. The door opens at the other end as well, and then we've got more space here. Another workshop. Plenty of workshops. Haven't got to worry about that. Fuel. Where's the lime? I think the lime station might be up. Oh yeah, we have got lights. A lot of these barns do have lights as well. I thought I should better mention that too. Actually, better not leave that on, you know. Otherwise I'll get the electricity bill. So, back out of here. And up the hill. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a right here, and we're going to head round to some of the main sell points in kind of the middle of the map. If we go out one and then zoom out a little bit, we've started off here at the main farm, and we came down the hill here. We did the biogas and the animal dealership, came out to the pig farm, then we came down here to the barn sale point, to the kind of shelter storage, followed the road round to where we can get our water from, but obviously you can get it other places as well. Rounding up the hill, and then we came across here and we did the sheep and the chickens. We've now done this sell point here, so now we're here. We're going to go right and up to these sell points just here. Then we're actually going to backtrack and come back along that lane because we need to do the spinnery, the shop, and then head south for a couple of bits. I do want to fit it all in. Something I have noticed, and it's a minor, it really is a minor niggle. When you look at the sweeping hillsides and all that kind of stuff, when you go along the roads, you've got bits of road like this, which are just fine, absolutely brilliant. And you've got odd bits here and there, which are very sharp, in so much as you've got a very, like two straight edges meet, and you've got quite an angular join. Like I say, it's a minor thing, it's nothing huge, but when you've got all this fantastic landscape and all the rest of the stuff going on, like this one here, it's a very kind of sharp edge to the two terrain pieces, if that kind of makes sense. There's a few of them knocking about, but not so as you'd really notice too badly. So if we tuck in here, we have got the Meadow Grove store. I'll make sure that's right. Yep, Meadow Grove Stores is the first one we're at. Back out onto the main road, and right next door we've got Meadow Grove Dairy, or Dairies. And that one, interestingly, has got two separate sell points. It does eggs and milk, but they are actually... I didn't go the right way. Oh, it doesn't matter. We've got one sell point for eggs and then one sell point for milk, rather than having them all as one, which I suppose most of the most maps generally do, unless the dairy is separate and the egg point is separate. But yeah, two separate sell points. But that's your dairy. I'll make sure I go out the right way. So what we're going to do now is backtrack along the way we've just been. So there's no point of what I'll probably do is skip this little bit. I'm trying to think, is there anything I've missed? No, biogas plant, the back of that's just there. No, we're good, right. Another woodland on our left hand side. The woodlands on these aren't very big, it's like you haven't got a massive forest or anything like that. So that's the turning we came out of and we went right. So now we're going along here. First sell point we come to on the right. There's a couple of little side turnings which take you all back up to the main cow farm. Is the spinnery just on the right here. So for your cotton and your wool sales, that's just there. There's your spinnery off this main road. I need to get out in front of that car. And what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on heading west across the map to the main machinery store. I think there's another turning. Where is it? Oh yeah, just there. Which also takes you up to the dairy eventually, and that one there can also take you back down to the sheep farm. So there's little lanes dotted around all over the place. There's some really different textures all mixed in on this, which I quite like. So this is the main store. And we've got our vehicle repair sell point, buy point. This is your store. An AGCO dealership, Massey Ferguson. That's what I mean, see, Massey Ferguson's. It'd be brilliant with some Masseys, wouldn't it? So if we come back out here, we're going to head south very quickly. There's a little side turn we need to go down. Because this is the other bit that I really like about this map. Another really tight little winding narrow lane. We've got some more kind of shed space, storage space coming up. I like the fact the roads aren't all straight, but I love this view here. Like when you come around this bend and you've got the field sweeps away from you. That's really good. It just feels very, very nice, you know. Again, just my opinion, but you know, I like it a lot. So right way down here. We've got a little kind of another. It is really just a kind of storage area just to the left here that you can utilise however you want to. And we get to this bit at the bottom of the map, and I haven't really shown this when we've looked at the map. But when we come all the way down here, the big P is for placeables. So we've got a placeable area. This is the most expensive purchasable part of the map. It's 889,000, which compared to some maps and some fields cost more than that. But that's a huge placeable area. But what I like about this as well, it's like a country park. It's kind of got that feel to it. But something worth bearing, or not worth bearing in mind, but worth knowing. If I come to here and press circle, unbelievable. I came down here earlier, that wouldn't work. I had to come over and had to unlock it from the other side. But anyway, there you go, the gate's open. And you've got this huge open, it does feel like a big open country park type thing. Little trout lake, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, buy this and you can set up your entire farm. You can have a whole different thing going on here, or plough it all out, or put a forest on it, or whatever you want to do. But it's a nice big area, plenty going on. I like that, it's a nice touch. I know they did it on the old stream farm, and often you'll get placeable areas which is just a kind of large-ish concrete area, but having a big open area like that, it gives you a lot of scope, especially with the landscaping tools now. You can really make that your own. That's nice, I like that. Very, very cool. Right, so we're going to go back to where we came, and I will tell you when we get to somewhere a bit different. So we're actually now coming back eastward again, along the road we came along originally, and there's a turning just on the left. There we go, just here. Again, I love that, the sweep down from the sort of top of the map all the way down. It's cool. Right, so now we're going to head up here to the last. I think there's one more sell point. We haven't done the horses yet, have we? Horses are up here. Now on the right hand side here, I think this is the third of the farm silos. So weirdly, the farm silos aren't actually located. Oh no, to be fair, no, the first one was. That's at the pig farm, isn't it? I take that back. This one's a slightly different one. It's a smaller one that you can only back into, you can't drive through. So that's the third of your farm silos, again with a bit of barn space and stuff going on. And that goes off around the back to a little bit more around there. But again, this little detail, you know, little track that runs out to another field. I like that. I'm going to keep saying that. I like that. And there we go. We got our the balloon's becoming quite a standard feature on a lot of maps now, isn't it? It keeps popping up. As we swing around a little pond on the right hand side, and just here we've got another little turning. Where is it? Just here. There we go. Put into the lay-by just there. Now, right there is the cow farm where we started out. Our house is just through the trees there, so that's the cow farm just there. We come all the way around the map and we're back up kind of to the top again. We open this up. This is your horse paddock. So this is where your horses are going to be, if you want them to be here. Buy, sell, drop off, etc. Then we come into the field. We've got our water trough. We've got our feed trough. Now, in here, this is a kind of extrapolation. We've got a couple of barn doors that open with some sort of stables inside as well, which is really cool. What I like about these is the actual, each one opens as well, which is quite clever. But this one here, I think, is your straw for the horses. So if you can't find it, I think this is it, tucked in away here. We've got the buy point, the water point, and the feed trough. So I'm assuming that's the straw point. It kind of makes sense that it would be. So moving on, we are moving rapidly towards the last couple. Oh, I know what I have missed. The pub. There's a nice little pub. There's no sell point or anything there. It's just a nice little pub. Hasn't got a name or anything, but quite nice pop in there for a swift half after a long day in the fields. So, the last of the points to be looking at, and we are right now at the top of the map. We are in the kind of northwest corner, if you want to call it a corner. It kind of bends round, and we're at the sawmill. So we've got the sawmill log sell point is just here. We have got the wood chip sell point just here. I think we've got a lime point, and we've also got, is it Top Hill? I think it's Top Hill. Yeah, Top Hill, the bottom one. Top Hill sell point. So we're now all the way up here. We went from the big open country park back up the road, back along there to this little lane here, up the lane to that bit we looked at, round the corner to the horse paddock, up the hill, and now we are up here. Lime Station, Sawmill, and Top Hill sell point, which is just there. It's been a bit of a whiz round, but this is another nice map. And the problem is, with the more nice maps that come out, and all the ones that I keep going, oh, that's right up my street, that is. Again, I'm in that situation, I can't do all of them. I was kind of almost, I'm sorting out my Let's Plays at the moment, and I thought, right, I'm going to do Lipinki. And now this has come out, and I'm driving around this thinking, I really like the layout of this. It's really, really nice. Now I'm wondering, can I get back to the main cow farm? And that means going around the edge of a field. Actually, it's a grass field, isn't it? But, oh yeah, we can look. There was a gate. I thought there was at the back of the farm. Open that up. And we're back at the cow farm. Pretty much where we started from. Again, more gates, so I know I've left loads open, don't worry, I'll go around and close them all later on. But there you go, that's the map. There's loads more to see, and again, I will make my stipulation, I have probably missed something, and the more that people play on the maps, the more they'll find things. I cannot guarantee that it is glitch free, that it's problem free. People will often comment on my first look map tours and say, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, you know, why did you not check this or not check that? At the end of the day, I can only do a certain amount in a first look, you know. The more people that play on maps, the more they find any issues that there are. Often new maps within a week or two will get an update, because there'll be things that, and I've said this before as well, that the guys that make them on PC can't test them for console. They make the changes they need to for console and then submit them. And sometimes you get that ghost in the machine. You get that, you know, the little gremlins appear, and between the PC to console conversion, something goes wrong. You might get a texture issue, or something goes wrong with a cell point, and it's, you know, 9 times out of 10 it's not the modder's fault, it's not the map maker's fault, it just happens. And then once they're aware of it, they can then go back in and they can tweak it and they can adjust it. So that's kind of the way it is. But there you go. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching. I'm off to the pub.